Hi students, it's Principal Reid and we are on day 2 of our early spring break, and I'm here today to read a few chapters from a brand new book I just got today. And that book is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. So every day I'm going to log on and I'll read to you a couple chapters from this book. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. All right, we're going to go into this reading journey together. So welcome. You can see my side yard. I'm in here in my office, and I'm just kind of going to sit back and relax and read to you today. Okay, chapter 1, Spanish language. I'm learning to speak, to give myself a way out, a way in. Chapter 2, to succeed. When I learned Spanish for the word succeed, I thought it was kind of ironic that the word exit is embedded in it. Like the universe was telling me that in order for me to make something of this life, I'd have to leave home, my neighborhood, my friends. And maybe I've already started. For the past 2 years, I've attended St. Francis High School on the other side of town, away from everything and everyone I love. Tomorrow is the first day of junior year. And you'd think it was my first day as a freshman, the way my stomach is turning. I don't think I'll ever get used to being at St. Francis while the rest of my friends are at Northside. I begged my mother to let me go to my neighborhood high school, but she kept telling me, "Jade, honey, this is a good opportunity." One I couldn't pass up. It's the best private school in Portland, which means it's mostly white, which means it's expensive. I didn't want to get my hopes up. What was the point of applying if once I got accepted, Mom wouldn't be able to afford for me to go? But Mom had done her research. She knew St. Francis offered financial aid. So I applied. And once I got accepted, I received a full scholarship. So I kind of had to go. So here I am trying to pick out something to wear that doesn't look like I'm trying too hard to impress or that I don't care about how I look. St. Francis doesn't have uniforms, even though everyone says it doesn't matter how you look on the outside. It does. Especially at St. Francis. I bought clothes with the money I made from working as a tutor at the rec center over the summer. I offered Mom some of the money I earned to help with the bills, or at least the groceries. But she wasn't having any of it. She told me to spend it on my school clothes and supplies. I saved some of it, though, just in case. Mom comes into my room without knocking, like always. "I won't be here tomorrow morning when you leave for school," she says. She seems kind of sad about it, but I don't think it's a big deal. "You won't see much of me this week. I'm working extra hours." Mom used to work as a housekeeper at the Emmanuel Hospital, but she got fired because she was caught stealing supplies. She sometimes brought home blankets and small lotions that are given to patients. Snacks too, like saltine crackers in juice boxes. Then one of her coworkers reported her. Now Mom works for her friend's mother, Miss Louise, a rich old lady who can't do much for herself. Mom makes Miss Louise breakfast, lunch, and dinner, gives her baths, and takes her to doctor's appointments. She cleans up all the accidents Miss Louise sometimes has when she can't quite make it to the bathroom. Miss Louise's daughter comes at night, but sometimes she has a business trip to go on, so Mom stays. I know Mom isn't here just to tell me her schedule for the week, because it's posted on the fridge. That's how we communicate. We write our schedules on the dry erase board and use it to let others know what we're up to. I close my closet, turn around, look at her, and wait. I know what's coming. Every year since I started at St. Francis, Mom comes to my room the night before school and starts to give me the talk. Tonight she's taking a while to get into it, but I know it's coming. She asks questions she already knows answers to. Have I registered to take the SATs yet? And am I still going to tutor at the rec center now that school has started? And then she says, "Jade, are you going to make some friends this year? Here it is, the talk. Really, Mom? Yes, really. You need some friends. I have Lily. You need friends who go to St. Francis. You've been there for 2 years. How is it that you haven't made any new friends? Well, at least I haven't made enemies, I say. Mom sighs. I have friends there, Mom. They're just not my best friends. It's not like I go to school and sit by myself in the cafeteria. I'm fine, I tell her. Are you sure? Mom asks, because I swear, it's like if you and Lily aren't joined at the hip, you act like you cannot survive. Mom doesn't understand that I want to have Lily to look at when something funny happens, something that's only funny to us. Our eyes have a way of finding each other no matter where we are in a room, so we can give each other a look that says, did you see that? But at St. Francis, I don't have anyone to share that look with. Most things seem ridiculous to me are normal there. Like when my humanities teacher asks, who are the invisible people in our community? Who are the people we as society take for granted? Some girl in my class says her housekeeper. Excuse me. It wasn't that I didn't think she took her housekeeper for granted. It was that I couldn't believe she had one. And then so many of my classmates nodded like they could all relate. I actually looked across the room and the only other black girl in the class, and she was raising her hand saying she took my answer. And so I knew we'd probably never make eye contact about anything. And I realized how different I am from everyone else at St. Francis. Not only because I'm black and almost everyone else is white, but because their mothers are kind of people who hired housekeepers. And my mom is the kind of person who works as one. Lily would get that. She looked at me and we'd have a whole conversation with only our eyes. But now I have to wait till I get home from school to fill her in on the crazy things these rich people say and do. Mom keeps up with her talk. I really wish you'd make at least one friend, a close friend this year at your school, she says. And then she says goodnight and walks into the hallway, where she turns and says, I almost forgot to remind you. Did you see my note on the fridge? You have a meeting with Mrs. Parker during lunch tomorrow. On the first day of school? About what? Mom shrugs. She didn't give me details. Must be about the study abroad program, she said with a smile. You think so? For the first time ever, I'm excited to talk to Mrs. Parker. This is the year that teachers select students to volunteer in a foreign country and do service learning projects. That was the thing that made me want to attend St. Francis. Well, that and the scholarship. When we met with Mrs. Parker, my guidance counselor, I think she could tell I was not feeling going to the school away from my friends. But she knew from my application essay that I wanted to take Spanish and that I wanted to travel. And she said, Jade, St. Francis provides opportunities for our students to travel the world. She had me on that. Of course, she didn't tell me I'd have to wait until I was a junior. Miss Parker always had some kind of opportunity to tell me about. Freshman year, it was an essay writing class that happened after school. Sophomore year, it was for a free SAT prep class that met on Saturday mornings. Saturday mornings. She likes to take me downtown whenever there's a speaker or a poet in town telling me I should hear so-and-so because kids in other cities in Oregon don't get these kinds of opportunities. I know Miss Parker is looking out for me, that she promised Mom she'd make sure I'd have a successful 4 years at St. Francis, but sometimes I wish I could say, oh no, thank you, Miss Parker. I have enough opportunities. My life is full of opportunities. Give an opportunity to someone else. But girls like me with coal skin and hula hoop hips, whose mamas barely make enough money to keep food in the house, have to take opportunities every chance we get. Before Mom walks away, she says, I'm going to pick up some groceries after I get off work tomorrow. Anything you need me to get? Did you see what I added to the list on the fridge? I asked, smiling. That was you? I thought maybe it was EJ who wrote that. EJ's my mom's brother, but I've never called him Uncle EJ. He's 20, so we're more like siblings. He started staying with us when he dropped out of college. Well, I'll let him tell it. He took a leave of absence, but it's been a year and I haven't heard anything about him trying to go back. Instead, he's busy making a name for himself as a local DJ. Mom walks into her bedroom, mint chocolate chip ice cream. I'll see what I can do, she says. If I have enough money, I'll get it. Promise. I finish getting ready for school, thinking to myself that I know all about Mom's promises. She does her best to make them, but they are fragile and they break easily. Chapter 3, to leave. The next morning, I woke up before sun, so early that only trucks and people up to no good are on the streets. There's nothing in the fridge but baking soda in the way back and a half-empty bottle of ketchup, barbecue sauce, and mustard on the door. I drank a glass of water, take a shower, get dressed, and I leave by 6:30 so I can get to the bus. I ride the 35 through the maze of houses that all look like one another, like sisters who are not twins, but everyone thinks they are. Living here means when people ask, where do you live? You say, the New Columbia. They say, you mean villa? And remind you that your neighborhood used to be public housing for World War II shipyard workers. And they remind you how by the 80s, a lot of those apartments were run down and how really they were just projects with a different name. At least that's what Mom says. She's always telling me, I don't care if they give the hood a new name or not. It's still the hood. Lots of people can't find beauty in my neighborhood, but I can. Ever since elementary school, I had been making beauty out of everyday things. Candy wrappers, pages of newspapers, receipts, rip-outs of magazines. I cut and tear and arrange and rearrange and glue them down, morphing them into something no one else ever thought they could be. Like me, I'm ordinary too. The only thing fancy about me is my name, Jade. But I'm not precious like a gem. There's nothing exquisite about my life. It's mine though. So I'm going to make something out of it. Not only for me, but for my mom too, because she's always saying, never thought I'd be here forever. But that's how things turn out. And when she says this, I know she means it. If she hadn't had me when she was 16, she would have gone to college. She would have maybe moved away from Portland, would have had fewer struggles. She never outright blames me for making her life harder than it needed to be. Instead, she pushes me hard because no one pushed me, she said. One of us has to make it out of here, and I'm her only child, her only hope of remaking herself. Dad saw a different future for himself too, but unlike Mom, I think I changed him in all the best ways. He's always telling me how I made him settle down, get himself together. And just because me and your mom didn't work out doesn't mean I don't love you, he tells me. He lives with his girlfriend, who I actually like, even though I never tell Mom that. Mom never talks bad about her, but I know I'm not supposed to like this woman who knew my dad had a girlfriend, a daughter, but flirted with him anyway. This woman who was white and everything opposite of my mom with her college degree and her good paying job, I try to stay out of any talk about Dad and his girlfriend and what happened with him and Mom. At least in my life. It's not my friends. A lot of my friends can't say that. Dad calls me his queen, says I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. I think about this as I ride to school. How I am someone's answered prayer, but also someone's deferred dream. The bus moves and stops, making its way through North Portland. We pass the transitional block where North Portland becomes Northeast. Within a block or two, you stop seeing modest apartment complexes and start seeing houses and luxury apartment buildings, restaurants with outdoor patios, and shops of all kinds. The bus stops and 4 people get off. A white girl gets on and goes to sit in the first empty seat she sees. She has dark brown hair pulled back and twists into a mass of ponytails. She's thin. It's easy for her to slide between 2 people sitting in the front of the bus. She opens up a book and disappears into it and never looks up. We entered downtown and the book girl's still on the bus. Anyone who stays on after the stop besides me is someone heading to work. She looks my age, so I doubt she's got a job to go to. I wonder if she's going to St. Francis. I get off the bus at the same stop the book girl does. She walks out the front door and I go out the back. I've never seen her before. I would have noticed her if she was taking the bus with me for the last year. Most of the students at St. Francis live over here, or they walk or drive to school. She's walking fast, too fast for me to catch up, so I don't get to ask her if she's new. She blends into the flock of students entering the school. There's a few sections of color in the crowd. There's Rose, one of the other black girls here, who I thought I'd become friends with on my first day. We talked about our braids and swapped ideas for styles, and she's a year above me. So we don't have classes together and we never have the same lunch period. But whenever we see each other in the halls, we smile. I should have told Mom about her. Then there's Josiah, a tech nerd who somehow in a place like this is one of the coolest, most popular guys in the school. I like him when he's only with me, when I'm tutoring him and drilling him on Spanish vocabulary. When it's us, he's regular. Just a guy who loves to geek out and experiment with making apps and learning coding. He's smart, real smart. Just not so great at making his tongue roll an R. But when he gets around his friends, especially the boys, he puts on a voice and uses slang and acts in ways that seem so opposite of who he really is. Josiah stops me in the hallway. Hey, a group of us are going to Zach's Burgers at lunch. You in? Sorry, I can't, I tell him. I have a meeting with Miss Parker. He doesn't have to know I can't afford to eat out for lunch. Okay, he says, next time. He walks away. For so many reasons, I want to say yes to him. Eating a burger at Zach's would be so much better than eating a turkey wrap from the cafeteria. But nothing would make me miss this meeting with Miss Parker. I can't wait to find out what country we're going to, what the service learning project will be. Of everything Mrs. Parker has signed me up for, this one means the most. This time, I'm not a program offering something I need, but it's about what I can give. And that is the first 3 chapters of Piecing Me Together. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you have a wonderful day.